Capo Daniel has said and done a lot of things in this struggle. But I have never wanted to be in the habit of responding to anything he does or say, because I have always taken him for a clown and thus inconsequential. He is not the kind of fellow any responsible or intelligent person wants to rub shoulders with, talk less of class. But today I choose to delve into his shenanigans, because it is now public knowledge that he drinks from the same cup with our common enemy, La République du Cameroon. Not that I have ever perceived Capo Daniel as being a true independentist, but until now, when he connived with the enemy, it was done secretly. Now, he has come out publicly to begin carrying water for La République du Cameroon. This story is important because so that people know Capo Daniel isn't one of us. He has never been. He doesn't speak for us, not even for Comrade Cho Ayaba. In fact, responding to my request for a comment on Capo Daniel, this is what Comrade Ayaba said, and I quote, "Tell him he is a cheap, hungry traitor now, trapped in his undeliverables." And end of quote. Quote that as my reaction, Comrade Ayaba said to me. This struggle for Ambazonian independence has been a long and arduous journey, marked by the bravery and sacrifice of many dedicated individuals. However, recent events cast a shadow of doubt over the loyalty of Capo Daniel. Once a deputy of Comrade Ayaba and claiming to be one of the deputies chief of the ADF fighters, Capo Daniel's actions have raised serious questions about his commitment to the Ambazonian cause. Throughout his tenure with the ADF, Capo Daniel faced widespread criticism from Ambazonians who questioned the ADF's focus on targeting civilians and other restoration fighters instead of directing their efforts against the oppressive regime of La République du Cameroon. This raised suspicions about Daniel's true motives and allegiances. These suspicions were seemingly confirmed when he departed from the ADF, tried and failed to establish his own kingdom or faction after entering into agreements with La République du Cameroon and divulging the hideouts of Ambazonian fighters. This betrayal has resulted in the deaths of many courageous and brave Ambazonian fighters and the coercion of others to join the DDR centers. The most damning evidence of Capo Daniel's betrayal emerged in the form of audio recordings revealing his clandestine negotiations with La République du Cameroon ministers to sell out the Ambazonian cause for a staggering sum of 1 billion francs CFA. The recordings painted a stark picture of a hungry man willing to sell his people and sacrifice their aspirations for personal gain. In the audio, he shamelessly negotiated an advance payment of 500 million francs CFA, exposing the depth of his treachery. But that's not all. Compounding these egregious actions, Capo Daniel, in effort to blackmail the AGovC, himself confessed to have engaged in secret meetings with La République du Cameroon officials during last year's Canadian so-called pre-talks. These covert discussions aimed to broker a unilateral ceasefire with La République du Cameroon in exchange for promises from them. Daniel's willingness to entertain such deals and discussions with the enemy raised troubling questions about his true loyalties and motives. It appears that Capo Daniel's departure from Canada and subsequent break from the ADF and AGovC to form his own thing, his own group, may have been the result of his refusal to comply with the terms of the arrangement proposed by La République du Cameroon. Since then, he has embarked on a malicious campaign, not just against the AGovC, but against Ambazonia at large. He now speaks on behalf of the very forces that have long oppressed his people. His actions are reminiscent of those who have succumbed to temptation and deceit, betraying their brethren for personal gain. That is Capo Daniel. The implications of Capo Daniel's actions are deeply troubling. His betrayal has not only resulted in the loss of lives, but has also sown seeds of mistrust and division within ground zero ranks. His willingness to collude with the enemy and undermine the aspirations of his own people is a grave betrayal that cannot be overlooked. And that is why I am doing this today. The very essence of the Amazonian cause is rooted in the yearning for freedom, justice, and self-determination. It is a cause that embodies the hopes and dreams of an entire nation, a cause for which many have made the ultimate sacrifice. Capo Daniel's actions stand in direct contradiction to these noble ideals, and his betrayal strikes at the heart of the Amazonian struggle. The case of Capo Daniel serves as a stark reminder of the dangers posed by those who are swayed by greed, treachery, and self-interest. His actions are treasonous and undermine the very fabric of the Amazonian cause. In the wake of Capo Daniel's actions, it is imperative for the Amazonian community, especially on ground